Hello everyone, in this video we're just going to be working out a bunch of different triangle congruence problems. So let's start out with the first one, and we're just going to keep in mind that given always goes first, prove always goes last. Okay, so given, here's our given AC and CB, and then perpendicular here. So the given is actually always going to be first, and it will just stay there. So let's put our prove statement last. ACD congruent to BCD. Okay, so ACD congruent to BCD. And that's actually, okay, it's here. Sorry, there you go. So we wanted to make sure it was the angles there. All right, so now we can put things in the right order. So we want to make sure one thing that can always go next is going to be the reflexive property. So let's pull the reflexive property next. Okay, then we can also put anything about vertical angles, perpendicular, linear pair, or midpoint. So let's go look. Okay, so we do have some right angle things. So perpendicular lines form right angles. We can put that next. And the reason that we don't have to put the other one is because we actually have perpendicular in the proof statement. Okay, then we can say the triangle contains a right angle. Triangle contains a right angle. That's fine to go next because we were just talking about the right angles there. You can see those line up. And then we can say hypotenuse leg and then the CP/CTC. Remember, this was our congruence statement, or sorry, our prove statement, and that can go after triangle congruence. So after that statement. Okay, let's try out another one. Okay, so given needs to go first, prove needs to go last. So there's our given, it's all in the first. And then our proof statement is triangle ACB is congruent to ECD. Okay, so ACB congruent to ECD. Okay, now we have midpoint in the given, so that means that our midpoint statement can go next, and that's actually already next, so that's fine. We also have that we're talking about right angles here, so we can say something about right angles. If two angles form a right angle, then they're complementary. That can go next, so let's put that. And we actually have another one there, two angles forming a right angle, and you can see that these are talking about these here. So those do line up. We can say those next because they were in our given. Okay, and then if two angles are complements of the same angle, then they're congruent. That's fine to go next. And then we have SAS. So you can see as we go along, here's these that were all given. Okay, these two are going to line up with these two. And then dropping both of those, we get that these two are congruent, and then we have our side angle side. Okay, let's try this one. Given and prove. So prove, I want to drag that to the end, right here. Okay, we were given that these two are perpendicular, so we can pull the perpendicular lines form right angles up at the top. Reflexive property can always go next, so we can put that one there. And since we're talking about right angles, that means we can go ahead and pull the right angle statements after that. Okay, so we can pull these next. And it doesn't matter if reflexive is first or after these. It really doesn't matter there. We also have a CP/CTC, and that has to come after a triangle congruence, so it needs to go after hypotenuse leg. And now this proof looks good. So looking up here, we had that these two things were congruent. We had that these were perpendicular. That means they form right angles. That means that these are right triangles, and that just is there. Then we have hypotenuse leg, then CP/CTC, and then bisecting. Okay, let's try out another one. All right, given first, prove last. AC perpendicular to BC is last. BD, sorry. Okay, so we have two triangle congruence statements here. That's going to make this one a little bit difficult. But let's pull our reflexives first, and then we can try to reorder these. So we're given these two. Okay, so you can see the two segments that were given here. All right, and then we're given the reflexive. So these three statements all together, we're talking about AD, AB, and then BD. So looking here, that's this whole triangle right here. So ABD, that's going to be the triangle congruence we're going to pull. So this one can go next. All right, so saying that these two things are congruent because we had all those statements there. And then since we just said these were congruent, we can do one CP/CTC. So let's look and see which one we can do for CP/CTC. And I'm just going to go down. Okay, that one is not part of the triangle we're talking about. We're talking about these whole triangles here. So that one is not going to go next, but this one can go next, okay, because that is talking about the triangle congruence that we were just doing there. Okay, and I accidentally pulled the last one. There we go. Okay, so you can see that this does line up with those, whereas this one did not line up with those. You want it to be the whole triangle that you're talking about there. Okay, after we say that, we do need CP/CTC to be after triangle congruence. So here's the other triangle congruence that we're talking about, and CP/CTC, and then our proof statement down below. All right, so let's look at another one. Given first, prove last, so AC bisects BD. Any reflexives, I can pull up top. Since parallel lines is in the given, that means we can pull parallel lines up. So let's do parallel lines, parallel lines, parallel lines. And then we need to do, our CP/CTC needs to go after the triangle congruence. So we need to see which triangle congruence they are lining up with here. So you can see all these things over the top. Reflexive, you can put anywhere in the proof. Parallel lines, we can say that because they're talking about parallel lines here. And now we just need to reorder these last ones here. Okay, so let's start out. We need to see which ones we can say for triangle congruence. So we know that this one, and this one. So that one actually doesn't really help us out very much here, but this one does. So we have this here, this one, and this one. So that is this entire triangle here, which is ABC, and triangle ACD are congruent. Okay, so one that says ABC and ACD, so that's this one here. Okay, now I need to see which one is going to line up with these triangles. So let's go down and look. This one is lining up with the triangles. That is one of the sides. This one is not. That one's actually going through the middle. So this one's going to go next. Then we can say that one, and then we can say this one. Okay, and then our proof statement is last. Okay, let's try another. All right, given first, prove last. So there's our proof statement, drag that last. Reflexive can go first. Midpoint can go next because it's in the given. CP/CTC has to go after triangle congruence, and that's just it. So this is our proof here. It's almost pretty easy. And maybe just one more. So given, prove is this, drag to the end. Reflexive can go next. Because it says bisects, we can say anything about bisects next. So bisects. You can also put linear pair anywhere in there. It's just saying that they form a line together, so that's fine. And then let's see, if two angles are supplements of the same, then they're congruent. So that one is going to need to go before. Do you see how this statement right here is containing the same letters as that one? That was actually one of our requirements. If CP/CTC is not in the reasoning, then the statement that has the same letters has to go before triangle congruence. So looking here, this statement has to go before that because it's talking about these triangles and we're working with CP/CTC at the end. Okay, so this is not the CP/CTC. We're in the reasoning. So, all right, so that one's good. Okay, and maybe just one more quick one, and then we'll be okay. Prove is going to go last, so let's drag that to the end. All right, and now we can drive our reflexives up. Vertical angles can go next. Vertical angles. Okay, now we need to look and see. CP/CTC does need to go after the triangle congruence, so that needs to stay there. But we need to look and see if this one is, and that does line up there actually, transitive going next. So reflexives, verticals, those are all first. Then we can say the triangle congruence, then CP/CTC, then that one, and then this one here. So that does work out. Okay, hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. I'd be very happy to help you out. Goodbye.